Okay, so what's going on with Berserk? Is it overpowered? Is it not? I've seen some debate about it, and I want to throw my hat in the ring. I think Berserk is overpowered, but it's overpowered in a way that isn't all that helpful, and I'll explain why that is. So let's talk about what it does. Berserk makes it so when you swap to Blue Scroll, you lose all your health, and instead you have a full health bar of recoverable HP. So it's all red. Also, your health starts draining, and if you get hit, it starts draining faster. So what's the benefit? Well, you don't take any damage from attacks. You can still take damage from fire and poison, but you can slot in Teostra's Blessing to get rid of that because for some reason those are level 1 decorations, and somehow Earplugs isn't. Anyway, there's another thing to keep in mind, and that's the fact that you can still heal while in Blue Scroll, and you can apply health regen effects, and that will prevent your health bar from decreasing significantly, even with the increased speed from being hit. So, you can be invincible for even longer. Add on top of that NPC followers and healing cats, and that's a recipe for immortality, basically. So, with all that being said, why isn't it that helpful? By God, it sounds pretty helpful to me. The main reason it's not that helpful is because even if you take no damage, you still want to avoid being hit. Why? Because whenever you get hit, you get knocked back, and it takes longer to recover from being knocked back even using Wirefall than it does simply dodging the attack and continuing your offense. Now, there are ways to get around this, and that's the few Hyper Armor, Wirebug skills, and Switch skills that the game has, but those moves usually aren't all that great for damage, with exceptions of course, but broadly speaking, you're better off doing a regular weapon combo or using a different Wirebug skill. Now, even if you want to avoid being hit whenever possible, that doesn't always mean that's easy to do. And because Berserk is on-demand immortality, as long as you use it with the right setup, or if you use it sparingly, it's still extremely useful, especially for avoiding one-shots from the monsters who have really strong attacks like Flaming Espionas, Lucid Nargacuga, Resistant Teostra, and Kushala. Also, I see this skill being extremely helpful in anomaly investigations beyond 120, because I assume the monsters are going to be hitting extremely hard, but in general, it's not all that helpful being invincible, because once again, you still have to worry about your health bar decreasing, and you don't want to be hit regardless of the fact that you're not taking any damage, because you have to deal with, first of all, the potential for being stunned, which you can prevent, and also you have to deal with the recovery from being knocked back from the attacks. So Rise is an interesting game because this is one of the few games where being invincible isn't all that helpful. If you were to put this in Elden Ring as a talisman, you could combine this with a Hyper Armor Ash of War like Wild Strikes, use Bestial Vitality, have the talisman that replenishes HP when you attack enemies, and it would be the most broken thing ever, and it would have to be completely turned off in PvP. It's hard to gauge whether Berserk would be more or less overpowered in World than in Rise, because World did have Rocksteady Mantle and pretty much the same types of regeneration sources, but also healing with Mega Potions is slow in World, and you don't have access to Wirefall. So, I don't know. What do you think? Would Berserk be more overpowered in World, or less overpowered? But I'm just going to leave it at that. Bye.